the series against Mana was incredibly close and tight as well. Did that shock you that you had to fight so hard?
I think I don't I don't really know how to crack his build. I guess that's what the conclusion is here.
So recently I made a video where I have qualified to the $10,000 Pixie Festival 6.0, and after qualifying I was drawn into the group with Serral. My first match is going to be Serral. My group consisted of Serral, myself, ByuN and Classic, and I wanted to give you some highlights of the match versus Serral because I think the games were quite interesting and exciting. So in the first game that we are watching right now, I was opening up with an Archon drop to do some damage to Serral. This is the opening I'm feeling the most familiar with and I have the most practice with. I was feeling good about it. But after doing some harassment with the Archons and the Zealots, I found little to no damage because it's freaking Serral. It's very hard to deal any kind of damage to him. And I wasn't sure exactly what the follow-up for Serral is. As of right now, I'm trying to scout for his 4th base. I see a somewhat of an aggressive movement of the Roaches. And in the qualifiers of the Pixie Festival, I was playing versus Lambo. And Lambo did beat me with like a very big Roach Ravager Queen push. And I was trying to learn from that series versus Lambo into the series as well, to make sure that I don't die to this ever again, because it seems to be a very strong timing. So I'm kind of already preparing shield batteries, preparing some cannons. I try to see in the middle of the map if Serral is actually moving across the map. I see there's still no 4th base from Serral, and I'm trying to find some more harassment and see more Roaches popping out with my Archons. The Overlords are kind of gathering in the middle. I'm trying to snipe 1 or 2. I need to make sure that I don't lose an Archon, and I don't lose an Archon in this situation. And I saw even more Roaches without a 4th base just yet, so I am definitely expecting to be attacked by Serral and probably with a lot of units. I'm still not very ready, but I'm already getting prepared for this kind of attack. Adding additional gateways, more cannons, upgrades finishing. I have a good energy of High Templars on my... well, good energy in the High Templars. I have Storm finished as well. As of right now, I see Overlords moving across the map already. Speed Overlords, mind you. So that kind of confirms 100% that this attack is coming. I am slightly supply blocked right now, but luckily for me, my robotics facilities are still working. And I'm producing Immortals as much as possible. I counterattack with some of the Zealots across the map to slow down Serral. I see he still has multiple Roaches there defending the potential counterattack with the Zealots, which is great for me. That might buy me a little bit more time, but I already see a freaking significant amount of Ravagers and Roaches here. And my army is not looking that strong. It's all about the control right now. I have the ability to defend this, but there's just so much in here from Serral. I luckily don't lose a War Prism to the course of battle, but that does depower my first robotic facility. I know I need to be extremely patient with this, but Serral really nicely is even spreading creep in front of my base, so his micro capabilities are stronger than ever. His units are just walking a little bit faster on creep, so it's easier for him to go in, do corrosive biles and micro back and so on. Luckily for me, he walks into the stasis trap, which kind of works as a force field. I have a very good flank from both of the sides. Stalkers, Archons on the right side, mass amounts of Immortals on the left side, good storms on the Roaches, good storm on the Ravagers, and I'm slowly defending. But the problem is for me that I am losing a robotics facility in the natural base. He still walks in. I have to make sure that I don't lose the War Prism, I don't lose the Immortals, because that's my only defensive capability to dodge the course of battle, just save my big units. As Serral is still continuing forward, continuing to send units across the map. I'm warping in more units, but the defense doesn't seem to be there just yet. I lost all my Archons, I lost all my High Templars. What I'm left with is basically the good amount of Immortals and War Prism, which I'm happy about. My upgrades for Forge have finished, +1 has been done. Blink is about to be finished, so that's why I'm warping additional Stalkers. But I can see Serral is kind of retreating slowly. My economy has not been touched. So I'm starting to think that might be able to hold this, and when Serral is doing this kind of attack, it's kind of an all-in, or at least it's very heavy pressure from the Zerg. So if I defend this without getting my economy touched, I should be ahead in the game. But I still don't think I have fully held yet. Especially since on the other side of the map, I don't have a counterattack, I don't have a War Prism to, once I get to counterattack, or I don't see if he has a 4th base or not. I only have a Stasis Sword, I believe that is, on the other side of the map to see if there's a 5th base, but I don't see the timing of his 4th. And Serral is constantly putting pressure on me in front of my 3rd base, and I'm still not sure if I have what it takes to move out. But I do blink forward, see there's just a small amount of Roaches and Ravagers. I have a High Templar in the War Prism to flank, but Serral immediately sniped the High Templar before I even get the 2nd storm. I decided to go for it as soon as possible, because I was just able to bruise the Zerg army for quite a lot of damage. I even kill a lot of Overlords, supply blocking Serral, hopefully. But now there's a freaking set of overlords in my main base. Serral counter-attacking me. I am supply blocked as well. I cannot warp in any units defensively. And not only that, Serral is actually killing pylons in my main base, so I cannot warp in defensively. This is the only army I have. I have lots of Immortals, cool versus Roaches, but I have only one Storm. It's not that easy to break through Serral. Luckily for me, the Immortals are, you know, still kind of healthy. I only have one red HP Immortal, but Serral is very good at buying time with these Roaches. And remember, I cannot warp in much. My all gateways in the main base. Let me just pause the replay for a moment. Gateways are unpowered as Serral is sniping in here everything, so it's very hard situation for me. I have no reproduction capabilities as of right now. So I need to replace these gateways in my third base and continue to micro at the front. Serral is slowly defending, but as long as I don't lose the Warp Prism and I don't lose the Immortals, I think I can still maybe break through. I cannot warp in reinforcing Zealots to deal with the drones or potential Zergling run by, Zergling reinforcements as well. And so luckily, well not luckily, but smartly, retreats to the main base, where I cannot really go up the ramp, because I cannot replace these units. I'm at the verge of winning the game right here. I didn't understand the supply, but the supply is still favoring Serral, and Serral has +2 and consistently counter-attacking me with the drop. I still have no production. Serral was able to reinforce with the units. There's still a 4th base for him in the top right side of the map, because I see the Roaches are coming from there. Very good Immortal micro, and the Roaches are retreating to the top right side. I decide to recall. I think I cannot break him anymore. I cannot reinforce. Let's just try to defend the base. I still saved a lot of my probes. Serral didn't kill the Nexuses in my main base or the natural base, so maybe I can, you know, go back and macro up a little bit. I even wanted to create a 4th base in all of the chaos right now in the bottom right side, but freaking Serral being Serral, he's still pulling creep on that base, so this probe never even made the Nexus in here. Now, after a retreat, I did kill a lot of drones for Serral. I killed both of his bases. I know he has a 4th, but I know his army is a little bit stronger than mine as of right now. I don't even see him pouncing on my army. I'm like, oh my god, I don't have a War Prism here to defend. My Immortals die. I don't have a War Prism to pick it up. Luckily for me, Serral disengages as of right now. I had Storm in just a few seconds on these High Templars, and Serral retreated just in time for me not to storm him. But how can I defend? I cannot walk up in here. So what I decide to do is try to counterattack and decrease Serral's economy even further with a Storm buff with the War Prism. Because of my building placement in the 3rd base, the gateways, the pylons, the cannons, and so on, it's hard for Serral to attack into it and destroy my Immortals and Stalkers. So I decided to counterattack with the Storm. 1 Storm, 2nd Storm, not so good, but the 1st one was good. Warping a couple of Zealots to make sure that Serral has to come back and defend that. That will give me time to recreate my base and army at home and defend the Nexuses that are under attack through the Roaches. A lot of my gateways in the main base are still unpowered, but I did at least increase the amount of time that I have to rebuild myself, to defend the main base, defend the natural. I decided to make a Void Ray even because what I see Serral have right now is just amount of Roaches and Ravagers. He cannot have that many Queens because I killed so many hatcheries. I don't think he can have Hydras or anything like that, so I thought that maybe if adding a couple of Void Rays is going to make it easier for me to deal with the potential drops again for Serral, and just straight up attack the army at the front over time against the Ravagers and the Roaches to try to snipe them. As of right now, I'm on 3 bases, but I don't know exactly how much damage I have done to Serral. After this Oracle harassment, I see that I'm doing a lot of the more economical damage to him, and he doesn't have immediate army to defend this Oracle, and I see a lot of Roach Ravager at home. I think I'm in a actually very good position in this game, that I can move out and safely micro if there's an engagement or something like that. I decide to even go to the main base with the War Prism, attack him at the front, while the Oracle consistently zones the drones from the 4th base. I go to the main base with the War Prism, sneak in the corner of the base. I see the Roaches being burrowed here, warp in a mass amounts of Zealots, go to the main base and try to attack him at the front at the same time. The Oracle denies the base at the corner of the map, and Serral decides to GG, and I win my game number 1 versus Serral after actually very chaotic defense, but I was very happy to win that game number 1 because that is a very difficult all-in heavy pressure from the Zerg to defend, and I was able to defend that against Serral, so I was very happy about that. 1-0. A couple of highlights from game number 2 versus Serral. I did somewhat the same build that I did before, but this time I decided to move out with the Adepts and the Oracle and the War Prism at the same time to do harassment in multiple places at the same time. Unluckily for me, Serral also had a different plan for me this time. and he's going to be counter-attacking me with the Zerglings at the moment I'm moving out, because I never do this move out with the Adepts. I always keep these Adepts at the third base to make sure that this doesn't happen, that there's not a Zergling counter-attack at my third base. These Adepts would be defending that with the shield battery. I think that, okay, maybe at least I can get some damage done with the Adepts. On the other side of the map, no, the Roaches are spawning, the Queens are in position as well to deal with the Archon drop. Not only I lose a lot of props in my third base, I also lose the Adepts. I don't deal any damage whatsoever on the other side of the map. So this beginning is far worse for me than in game number 1. Very shortly after that, Serral is going for the same attack that he did in the previous game. Lots of Roaches, Ravagers, and Queens and Lynx on the other side of the map as soon as possible. But because I was so delayed in the beginning, I didn't have the same amount of units or the preparation done yet. Look at this Storm actually finishing as of right now. It's 10 seconds away. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Storm is finished, and look what happens. 0.5 for Storm to be finished. Storm is completed. My High Templar dies the moment I have Storm. I could have stormed the entire army here. Maybe it would have been better for me, but that was such an unlucky snipe for me that the exact moment the Storm was finished, I wasn't able to cast it, and he sniped the High Templar. The overwhelming numbers here, I cannot defend, and I simply have to tap out shortly before that. There's far too many Ravagers here. I don't have any reinforcement. The Lynx are surrounding me, and it's just a simple 1-1, and Serral defeats me in game number 2. And game number 3, I decided to do the same build I did before. Like I said, I'm very familiar with this. I thought that in game number 3, I don't have an ace up my sleeve to try to fight versus Serral, so let's try that. Archon drop, and again, Serral kind of defended without losing anything. This time, he's on the other side of the map, even faster than before. 6 minutes 30 seconds, and he's already on the other side of the map. But I even find a couple of Queens in the middle of the map with the Archons and the Oracle. That slows down not only the attack itself, but also the power of the attack, because he cannot use the Transfuse on the Ravagers or the Roaches if I decide to storm them. Unfortunate for me, I do lose an Archon in the middle of the map. I wasn't able to pick it up on time. A mistake on my part where I shouldn't let that happen because it's such a crucial unit. I decided to add additional batteries, more Stalkers, more Immortals, and try to defend, just like in game number 1. Just like in game number 2, we're here for the third time, defending the frontal attack from Serral. And it's not an easy attack, not an easy position for me to defend. At least there's no Queens in here. Decent force fields to start the engagement, but there's so much Serral already here. I need to micro my Immortals to perfection. My Stalkers are dying slowly. I pick up the Immortals, dodge the Cursive Buzz. Another Immortal coming up from the right side. Good Immortal positioning, very good attack fire as well from the Immortals, dealing with the Roaches. There are not that many Queens in here. The Oracle's also dealing a lot of damage. A lot of shield batteries have healed up. Once again, I save the Immortals, and slowly, I'm starting to defend this, but there's still a lot of happening in here. The Queen versus Oracle fight was happening on the left side. The Oracle wins, which gives me even a little bit more damage versus the potential Ravagers. I see Serral retreats. Once again, my economy has not been touched that much, so as long as I defend here, I should be in a good position, just like in game number 1. I'm trying to defend the Immortal in the top side, but I was not quick enough with my War Prism. At least I saved one more Immortal. I decide to Chrono Boost out Storm. I'm hoping that I can defend this position. As of right now, I have very little anti-air in here. The Overlords are pooping right in front of my base. I need to shoo them away to make sure that there's no creep to speed up the Zerg units. But Serral keeps pressing forward, keeps pushing me. Good Corrosive Buzz, and I lose a War Prism with an Immortal inside. And that was a huge mistake on my side. I cannot allow that to happen. If I am not losing this War Prism right now, I could have a counter-attack potential. I could have micro potential in case of him attacking forward. I see that Serral is retreating. He knows that I cannot attack him without a War Prism to save my Immortals to get more reinforcements. I honestly defended that without losing any economy. I was very happy about the situation that I am in the game. If only I didn't lose that War Prism. I thought that was absolutely the most crucial situation. But Serral keeps putting pressure. I can see on the minimap that he keeps moving forward with his army. I don't know if he wants to go for round number 3 or 4, whatever that was. Or if he's just posturing here, looking for a tech switch maybe. My worker count is looking healthy, like I mentioned. I haven't lost any economy. It's just about being a better player right now to try to win this one. I'm trying to take a 4th base, but Serral constantly is walking around with his Zerglings, with his Roaches, trying to deny my 4th base. It's very hard. I see an army at the front. Serral is not giving me a single amount of minute or a second even to breathe, despite me defending the attack very well. You can see my amount of money actually going up. Right now, I am quite excited about the game because I could be winning 2-1. The Oracle is also finding a little bit more damage on the other side of the map, but I don't see the follow-up for Serral whatsoever. I see that he's still on the Lurtek. Boom. There are Mutas in here. Okay, I think I'm okay versus the Mutalisk. As long as I don't take that much damage, I should be fine here. I have Blink Stalkers, I have Stargate. I don't have cannons or batteries ready in my middle line, but it's most important to find the angle that the Mutas are going to be attacking from. For a brief moment, I also see that he's gathering his forces to the top side of the map, but now I lose track of the Mutalisks. I need to find them. I'm trying to prepare my main base. I'm kind of hoping that he's not going to be going to the natural base. I have a lot of Immortals, lots of Storm, but not a lot of actual firepower versus the Mutas. My 4th base should be done right now, but I haven't even started it yet. That was the first Mutalisk attempt in my main base. I was able to deflect that. I'm trying to split my army to the best of my abilities, but it's a difficult and very stressful situation. I'm trying to defend the 4th base. There's a big amount of Mutalisks. He snipes High Templar. A free Immortal possibly. Good Storm on the Mutas, but that doesn't matter that much. The Mutas will regenerate very quickly. I'm staying on a very high probe count. I know I'm in a good position in this game, but I'm very stressed as of right now. Trying to locate the Mutalisks, trying to secure the 4th base. I know Serral is definitely waiting somewhere out there to counterattack me. I know my army in a straight-up fight is better. But that's the thing, Serral will never give me a straight-up fight. I know about that because I had games like that versus him before. And he knows it's the right call. Mutas go to the main base, I blink up. I have a good amount of Stalkers there, I should be able to defend. I see a counterattack potential here from Serral, I'm trying to meet it. The Stalkers defend the Mutalisks. I don't have a lot of anti-air here. I'm kind of gambling on the Mutas, not pouncing on that army. I have only one Archon and lots of High Templars. Serral notices that and he has a second army at the top with lots of Zerglings, lots of Roaches, and the mass amount of Mutalisks. I have to go back. Try to defend with the Mutas. I don't have that many Phoenixes here. The Archon does something. I don't lose that many probes. Serral lost a lot of units, but this didn't really get me any closer to winning the game. So far, I'm just surviving. Mutas going to the main base. I see he's adding Corruptors, expecting me to make more Phoenixes to try to deflect from the Mutalisks. I thought I don't have enough time or firepower, or maybe not enough presence of mind to go for the Stargates. My plan was to get to as much army as possible and then go for it, go for an attack, knowing that Serral is going to be counter-attacking me. I didn't want to give Serral time to go back into the late game because, you know, playing late game versus Serral is one of the most difficult things in the world. More Muta harassment. I don't get a good storm of that. I blinked forward with the Stalkers, snipe a couple of Mutas. I'm trading with the Mutas here. I'm not so sad about that. Trying to go to the main base. I lose additional probes. Serral goes to the natural base. These Mutas are really annoying, and the time, I'm giving a lot of time to Serral. Despite my army being stronger, it's very hard to find that good engagement. I think it's time to go. I bruised a lot of the Mutas. I know where the Mutas are. I think it's time for me to go. I need to bring the Stalkers back to make sure I don't lose these High Templars. Mutas are coming to my 4th base. Couple of Storms, Archon flank, but it's only a single Archon, unfortunate for me. And I'm losing that Archon. More Mutas dying. I see the exact amount of Mutalisks. I see the positioning of that. I think it's my time to go. But I don't have any defenses at home. What to do? Recall or go? Recall or go? I'm being attacked. My army is stronger, but it's not as mobile. I recall. So part of the army goes back. But Serral knows how much I have recall. He goes back. The Mutas are pouncing on my army. I'm losing my High Templars. I'm losing my Stalkers. But Serral is also losing a lot on the other side of the map. My army is still strong if I can fight together. I just need to find a situation where I'm not going to be eliminated thanks to the buildings. I'm trying to split my army to the best of my abilities. Find some hidden expansions from Serral, seeing how much expansions he has. How much buildings do I have to destroy before winning this game. Serral is also attacking me on multiple places. I'm trying to catch some of the stray Mutalisks. The game is in full chaos mode as of right now, and I'm exactly unsure how am I going to win that. If I'm going to win that. I see more Mutas are even spawning, and as of right now, I'm not even sure if I can go back in the fence. Should I go and try to defend? Should I keep base trading? I thought I killed every base that there is. I thought Serral is only on one main base. I'm trying to defend my base, blink with the Stalkers against the Mutalisks. But Serral trades even versus the Stalkers quite nicely. I stumped the Mutas. Some of my stalkers died to the roaches, to the ravagers. Lots of immortals in here. I am left with very little amount of probes. Trying to rebuild some of my gateways so I can maybe make a couple of archons to deal with the mutilisks. This amount of mutilisks is not that much. I have a lot of stalkers with +2 attack on that. I think I can still win that. How can Serral even produce a lot right now? I killed so many hatcheries. He doesn't have an expansion. At least I didn't scout it. It's time to go. But I only have immortals. The mutas spot my army. I have a lot of High Templars here, a lot of stalkers. Okay, we can fight the mutas for sure. But there's so many more mutas coming from. Serral was actually hiding half of them. I stormed the mutalisks. I stormed the stalkers. But there's just simply not enough. And Serral wins the series 2-1. But I made it so close. And I really think it all goes back to me losing the War Prism to the Corrosive Biles at the third base, because that slowed down the potential to counter-attack, which I did in game number 1 to bring me closer to the victory. I also think I made a lot of mistakes, macro mistakes, or maybe even strategy mistakes after the defense. I gave Serral the time to recover, but I still had an army that could fight him. Serral is just such a good player that it's hard to do the right thing. He will constantly force you to make some mistakes, but despite losing the series 2-1, I brought him to his knees. I didn't cut off the legs, but I made him bleed for a moment. But in the end, he wins the series 2-1, and I'm still happy with the series that I have played, and I hope you guys enjoyed this game as well. Losers match I had to face versus ByuN, and ByuN is a very difficult opponent for me, especially since I think my Protoss versus Terran is not the strongest out there, but I can take games of the best players in the world if I play well. And I wanted to give you a couple of highlights from this series, and I don't want to show the entire game because I think that would be too long, especially since game number 3 was like a 30-minute game. But this highlight is extremely fun because it also shows the new feature in the new map pool that we see right now. There's a healing shrine in the middle of the map, and I use my adepts with the shade back to the healing shrine to heal up these adepts. ByuN, not aware of this situation, or maybe just not familiar with that situation, chases my adepts knowing that they are on the red HP, and I save both of my adepts, killing the entire Terran army here of the 3 Marines and a Hellion versus the 2 adepts. That was a very cool situation for me, and I was quite happy that I was able to make that micro battle in my favor versus ByuN. My follow-up to that was a 4-gate blink into the main base of ByuN. I blink forward kind of blindly, snipe the tack clap on the bark as soon as possible while picking up some of the stalkers to make sure I don't lose as many. There was also Raven harassment at the same time, so some multitasking had to be done. I believe I sniped either Stim or Combat Shield here. Of course, I'm not aware of exactly what that was, but I think it was Stim. I warp in a couple of stalkers, make my third base, and it's time to attack him in the natural base this time. I'm checking if there's a siege tank in the natural. There is a siege tank in the natural. I decide to blink in forward, pick up the Widowmine, targeted stalker to save as much as possible. There's also a medivac that I'm trying to snipe. I believe I sniped it in with the last stalker shot. I didn't get to see it immediately with my camera because I was so focused with the micro. But I got a siege tank, got the Widowmine, got the bunker, and I also am able to defend the Raven harassment quite nicely. So it's time to go for once more. There's a siege tank, I blink forward, one-shot it, kill the Marauder, kill the siege tank, try to pick up the stalkers with the War Prism. I lose a lot of stalkers here. Wasn't as clean as there is, but at least I got this, got the siege tank and got the Marauder. Not ideal, but good enough. Once again, dodging the Widowmine shot with the stalker, warping him more. But there's another siege tank waiting for me at the ramp. But it's only at the ramp, so I can maybe find some more damage in the natural base of ByuN. He repositions the stalkers. I try to find more damage. Hey, there's an eBay. I can maybe delay his not warp gate, but upgrades. I deny the +1 attack. ByuN decides to go for it with the SCVs with the Marines. Now I see that I have actually denied Stim, because if I wouldn't kill that, when I killed that tech clap and he doesn't Stim right now, that means it was Stim, because Stim should have been done already by now. After doing a lot of damage in the natural base, I decide to go once more to the main base. I killed lots of siege tanks already in this game, so there shouldn't be that many, at least maybe just one in the main base. I blink up, there's no siege tank here, snipe the tech lab with the combat shield. The area here to fight for ByuN is not ideal. He's forced to leave the starport, so I decide to blink out of there after trading some of my units. But at least I killed the tech lab and I delayed the starport position. After that, I tried to put some pressure on ByuN with Colossus, Stalker and Zealot in multiple places, but ByuN was defending both the natural, both the main base and the third base quite nicely. I'm trying to do a little bit of a walkout, but ByuN sees the army that I have right now, and he will actually try to engage onto me down the ramp. At the moment that my upgrade's finished, ByuN is on 2-2. I was surprised that he's actually engaging me right here in the middle of the map, kind of going down the ramp. So I decided to go back to the Warp Prism, warp in more Stalkers, try to blink forward, save my Colossus as much as I can. Save the Colossus, kill the Medivacs. And right after that, I was warping in more and more and more. After a couple very equal fights, I'm going to check if ByuN has a 4th base. I only see that his 4th base is floating to the location. He's not there yet while I'm on 5 bases, so I decide to stay in here, warp in more Zealots, try to split some of the attention of ByuN away and force the fights up until the point where I can win the game, because I know the economy that I have right now. Even having not the best trades out there, I should be able to close out this game. But army of ByuN is quite scary. I go for the main attack once again. There's some ghosts, some marauders, but I have superior numbers in here, especially the reinforcements. But ByuN's army is never dead, man. It's so hard to... I think a lot of these engagements in this game should be going my way, but suddenly my army is disappearing. I warp in a couple of Zealots. The most important part for me is that my Warp Prism survives with the Colossus inside. I have one more Colossus in here. ByuN knows that I will warp in once more and try to go for it again, and decides to GG out, and game number 2 goes to me. It's tied up 1-1. Game number 3 was a turbo banger versus ByuN. Basically, it was like 15 minutes of no rush. We tried to harass each other, but nothing could work. We basically just macroed up as much as possible, and then after the 15 minutes, we almost constantly fought as much as possible to the best of our abilities. I had freaking cannons and shield batteries in the middle of the map. ByuN with the extreme army of Vikings, Ghost, Marine, Medivac, Marauder. This absolute crazy-ass game. The only thing that really saved me in this game is the amount of resources that I had. I was able to expand faster than ByuN and take trades. Even though they were inefficient, my economy was just better than his. Despite my bigger economy, it was very hard for me to finish this game off. I have a huge bank, I have a huge amount of gateways, but it's very hard for me to finish off the turn. I try to go for some engagements here and there. We keep on finding some small trades, and the game continues on. And we keep on trading versus each other as much as possible, denying expansions, killing bases. It was just an awesome game of StarCraft to see all the abilities used and to fight in all the different places of the new map, Tokamak. I even had Tempest, Colossus, Immortals, yet Ghosts, Vikings, Liberators, Siege Tanks, Planetary Fortresses in the middle of the map, and it was an absolutely crazy game. After killing numerous bases of ByuN and almost depleting my entire bank, I had a lot of doubt if I can actually finish this game off, because I was doing my best army as much as possible, but I killed a lot of SCVs of ByuN, which means that his army supply is going to be bigger than mine. And I already had trouble doing for cost-efficient fights. And yeah, I'm trying to finish the game off, but the army of ByuN is so big in here. He walks into the stasis trap. I'm so afraid of walking in here. There's so many Vikings, so many Marauders, so many EMPs. And remember, we're playing this on the North American server, so the lag is there for both of us. We're kind of dodging the EMPs, dodging the storms, but actually trying to hit a good storm or hitting a good EMP. It's very hard to find the right engagement, and ByuN constantly is scanning, EMPing the High Templars. No feedback, no storm. There are only a couple of Colossus here, but I have a very good reinforcement point, and I know that ByuN's economy is in a lot of trouble as of right now, because that's his freshest expansion. I still have quite a lot of bank, lots of expansion in the corners of the map, so as long as I deny him from taking this base, I should be able to finally finish this off. But ByuN decides to just go for it. I don't have any storms here because he EMP'd my High Templars. He goes up the ramp to the cannons, to the batteries, to the Colossus splash damage. I warp in a big army of Stalkers and the Zealots, and the reinforcement helped me secure the position in here. The Colossus also still survive versus this amount of Vikings. I'm waiting for another round of warp in, regather the High Templars that were gathering energy in the expansions, and I think it's time for me to secure the game after almost destroying the entire army of ByuN. He cannot have that much more, right? I'm once again maxed out. I see Liberators, multiple amount of Medivacs, lots of Vikings, but not a lot of ByuN underneath. I'm trying to save my High Templars from the back, from the EMPs, Storm on top of the Medivacs, Storm on top of the Ghosts and the SCVs. The Stalkers reign supreme with the superior numbers. I have a very close reinforcement point. ByuN taps out and I win 2-1 this series, going to the decider match to advance to the playoffs versus Classic, yet another turbo banger versus a Korean player. My first game versus Classic was an absolute masterpiece. The PvP masterclass, absolute PvP peak performance, whatever you want to call it. And I want you guys to enjoy the last moments of game number 1 versus Classic from the casting perspective, because I think Pig's casting here was fantastic, but mostly because it also showed my reaction to winning this game, the absolute crazy game number 1.
Entry energy, the Stalker's getting pushed into. I think Mana can give up this ground. You're winning a base trade here. If you can split this army up, it could be good. He's trying to warp in more Stalkers, more batteries. He blinks forward. He gets to the Prism. Nice move. Zealots coming in from behind. Beautiful play. Probes from the left. Stalkers from the right. Zealots from the north. Attacking from the north. Attacking from the south. Kalaris somewhere finds himself within a very, very surprising bit of excitement. And the reason is because Mana is cackling madly as he attacks from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and he expands to the corner like a psychopath NA ladder player that never made it past 4.6k MMR. You absolute Chad gamer. Well played, Mana, in game 1.
I was very happy with that victory, as you could see, and game number 2, Classic was going for 1 gate expand, and I basically crushed him. Like I usually try to break max packs, I was able to break Classic, some good micro out there. Game number 3 versus Classic, where he won a game versus me, was also a very crazy game. Back and forth, where I think he played a very good macro game, and he was simply the better player in that game. And game number 4, the game that we're watching right now, I was preparing for a Blinkstalker +1 attack, and I was scouting around, and I saw that Classic doesn't have a third base. Where is he? He's going to my main base. I don't have Blink, I don't have a War Prism in here. He blocks me off. But I have a War Prism just in time popping off. I send the Immortals forward. He blinks forward, tries to snipe the War Prism, but I pull the War Prism back just in time, and I bring it back yet again for him to try to snipe the War Prism, and that makes his Stalkers go forward into the Immortals, and I snipe a significant portion of his army before I was able to move out just like I was planning to. So his army even smaller than I would be fighting with my move out right before that. I go across the map, there's a disruptor shot I'm trying to dodge. We're playing on the west server in here, so the micro is a bit questionable. It's very hard to micro on time versus the disruptors, but it's also hard for him to make the disruptors work. After killing so many Stalkers, I think it's time for me to go. I try to go forward, blink back, try to delay the disruptors. There's one more disruptor shot, but actually he gets a good shot here, killing 2 Stalkers and bruising the Immortal forward. I'm thinking, can I really make this through? So far, I thought it's going to be easier. I blink forward, snipe the Disruptor with the 1 shot. I try to kill the War Prism, but I misclick and I hit the Robotics facility. There's just not enough here for Classic, but I'm being blocked by the Force Fields. I use my own Force Field. I try to snipe the Disruptor, but the Disruptor gets picked up. The Disruptor should be off cooldown, so I back off. I warp in more Stalkers and go yet again. There's a lot of charges, but not enough for me to be that worried. There's only a couple of Stalkers, not enough battery energy. I have Blink, I snipe the War Prism, I snipe the Disruptor, I snipe one more Disruptor, and I kill the Stalkers, and I managed to win the series 3-1 versus Classic, 2-1 versus ByuN, and 1-2 versus Serral, and I advanced to the playoffs of the Pixie Festival. I was over the moon with the amount of games that I have played and the quality of games that I have played. Sure, I made mistakes here and there. I think my opponents also made the mistakes, but you know, for the level of play that I have showed in this group stage, I was very happy to play versus the best of the best of the best in the world, go toe-to-toe with them, and even win a couple of maps and win the series as well. So I advanced to the playoffs, and I'll see you guys there. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Whatever that was, the highlights, the analysis of the Pixie Festival group stage. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye bye.